Hey everyone, we're here today taking a look at the Jurassic World Reimagined Moto Escape Pack from Mattel. This pack comes with an Owen figure, a motorbike and 2 Velociraptors. Look at the Velociraptors first. They're very basic ones with a basic articulation, basically just the arms and the legs. But they have a rubbery feel to them, like the whole body and everything is made of a rubbery plastic, very squidgy torso and chest area there to give them like a real feel, as if it's real rubbery skin, which is a homage to the old Kenner Jurassic Park figures. And they both come with these harnesses that go around the neck, kind of like we saw Blue and the Velociraptor pack in Jurassic World wearing. There's like a camera sculpted on the side there, and these unplug and come off really easily. I actually quite like this white Velociraptor with the blue speckling going down the side. And then we have a red one here, which has got more of a kind of tiger stripe pattern on it, but it's much redder than the Lost World tiger stripe raptors. But these are quite a nice pair really. Very simple paint applications, just going down the back. You've got the striping going down the red one and speckling going down the white one. No paint on the nails or anything like that. The eyes are painted and the insides of the mouth are painted. But pretty basic, sort of cheap Velociraptors, but they're not bad for building up the species. Like I said, I do like the paint job on them, especially the white one. And now for the Owen figure, and he's got these kind of camo trousers and some body armour on the top there with webbing around it, which has got pouches and flares and things sculpted into it. And a removable helmet, which has got kind of a shark design to it. There's like a shark fin on the top there, and the teeth painted around the mouth guard of the helmet. Now the basic design of this is actually based on the Carter figure from the Kenner Lost World toy line. See the two of them together here, and I actually quite like that they've added a few details on the new figure. They've put actual pouches and tools and things on the armour. It's not just a piece of body armour. You see they've both got the camouflage trousers and the gloves, the helmet, though the helmet on the original doesn't have a shark design to it. It just has kind of red stripes. I don't know why they've gone with this shark design on the new one. I'm not so keen on that actually. I wish he just came with a normal helmet. And I have got a normal helmet from one of the previous Owen motorbike sets I'm going to put on him, which I think looks better and actually looks closer to how that original figure looks. Now the original figure is supposed to be Carter, who was one of the hunters in the Lost World, but I can understand why, rather than giving us a Legacy Collection Carter figure, they've given us another Owen, because he's a more marketable character. Because really, who even knows who Carter is? Like, the only reason that I know who Carter is because Kenner made a toy of him, and that made me pay attention to him in the film. He's basically the guy that gets stepped on by a T-Rex. And on the original toy here, the helmet isn't removable. So really it could be anyone under that helmet. It's not like it was a head sculpt of the actor's likeness or anything. So if you leave the helmet on this one, you can have it as Carter if you want, or you can have it as Owen. See, the helmet slides off nicely. This helmet comes on and off a bit easier than the other helmets we've had on previous figures that are a bit tight. It's a pretty good Owen sculpt on the face there. Pretty good likeness to the character. One of the better head sculpts, I think. The eyes on mine are slightly wonky, but like I say, I'm going to leave the helmet on anyway and have this as Carter, so it doesn't really bother me. He's got his knife on the back there in his sheath that comes out, which I always enjoy. I always think it's a nice thing. Like, 'cause on the earlier Owen figures, the knife was sculpted in, which was really annoying. So I like that we've got that removable knife again. And there he is with just a regular helmet from one of the other Owen sets, which I think does look a bit more accurate to how that Kenner version was. Really not keen on the shark design of that new helmet. And then we have the motorbike, which is also based on the Kenner Lost World design motorbike. It has this snare attached to the front, which has a plastic loop on it that you can put over the dinosaurs' heads if you want. It just kind of stretches over. It would fit over better if I didn't have that camera thing on the Velociraptor. It goes over there and holds on nicely, so you can kind of catch a Velociraptor as you're riding along. But the snare is also removable, so if you don't want that on there, it just pops off and you can have it as a normal motorbike. It's red at the front, with a few green stripes there. It's got a sort of Jurassic World logo, but it's just the yellow and the T-Rex. There's no Jurassic Park or Jurassic World or anything written on it, just like the T-Rex design logo seat there. And then it's got this mud effect on the bottom of the bike, which is once again homaging the Kenner toy, which I always really liked. But they've made the tyres completely covered in mud, so the tyres are just cast in a kind of brown muddy colour rather than being black with a bit of paint on, which is a bit of a cheap out, unfortunately. You can see how the mud is all kind of sprayed up the engine parts there on the bike. The other side's pretty much the same, but without the Jurassic Park logo. But this here is the original bike, which also has a snare on the front of it. But the snare on this one is movable. Now I'm going to have to hold this bike up because it doesn't have a bike stand on it, so I usually just use the snare to get it to stand up. But it's got a snare, and the sculpt of the snare is pretty much the same as on the new one. But on this original snare, it's got a string bit on the end, so when you catch a dinosaur with it, you can actually tighten it around the dinosaur's neck by like pulling it in. That bit stretches out and tightens up around it like that. So there's more of a play feature to the original one than the new one, where it's just kind of sculpted on. You can see with the original one, the mud splatter looks so much better. I always loved how the mud looked like it's really sprayed up the engine and the tyres of the motorbike, because the tyres are actually black with the mud painted on, whereas on the new one it basically just looks like it's got kind of muddy coloured tyres rather than them being tyres that are covered with mud, if that makes sense. Also, just in general, like the colour scheme of the original one more. It's mostly green, and the only real red bit is on the suspension and on the seat, whereas on this new one all of the front is red. And I prefer it being a bit more of a greeny camouflagey colour because it fits in better with the other hunter vehicles from the Lost World. This original bike also has the Lost World logo on it rather than just a standard T-Rex logo like on the new one. But I can understand why they did that with the new one rather than having it be the Lost World. With this original one as well, if you press a button on the back, the bike blows in half, like it springs off as if it's been smashed in half. It also came with a gun that attaches on this side, but I didn't bother bringing the gun because the new version doesn't come with a gun, so there's nothing to kind of compare it to. So here's Owen and Carter on the two bikes. I've been wanting Mattel to do an update of this bike for years because it's always actually been one of my favourite vehicle toys from the Lost World. I don't know why. There's just something I really liked about this bike, and that they made a figure of Carter who's kind of a obscure nothing of a character, but he managed to get a figure in the line. So I'm glad that we've got this updated version. And like I say, even though it's technically an Owen figure, you can have it as Carter if you want to. So I'm going to have it with my Lost World vehicles. But here's a few more bikes from the Mattel line as well. You've got Owen's motorbike from Jurassic World, and then there was just like that red bike from Dominion as well, which I like to give to Kenji or one of the Camp Cretaceous crew. I mean, really, they could have just repainted that red bike. I kind of expected that's what they would do. I'm impressed that they've given us an all-new motorbike design for this kind of Lost World homage, which is better than that red bike. I'm not all that keen on the red one. This new bike's a bit heftier. Here he is with Roland and Dieter. We just need RJ now. So even though ideally I would have liked it to have been a Carter figure, and I would have liked the bike to have been more green rather than red at the front, so it was more accurate to that original bike and it would fit in better with these other hunter vehicles, it is still nice to have it. It would have been nice if it had InGen written on it as well, once again just so it kind of fits in more with these other hunter vehicles from the Lost World. It's kind of an interesting matchup because they've taken the toy design of Carter from Kenner's Lost World line and kind of mashed it together with the scene from Jurassic World where Owen's on his motorbike with Blue and the Velociraptor pack running through the jungle, where they've got those cameras attached to their necks. I mean, when it comes to Carter, I think beggars can't be choosers, because I'm probably the only person on Earth that actually wants a Carter figure, purely because of that Kenner toy.
Carter! Where are you?
Thanks for joining me for this look at the Reimagined set from Mattel. Are you excited to get this? Are you going to? Do you even know who Carter is or care? Let me know in the comments, and I'll catch you again soon.